Hello to all watching us live or watching us on demand from the official Cartridge Club YouTube channel. To those unaware of who we are, the Cartridge Club is a community of gamers, collectors, and video game enthusiasts of all ages. As a community, we regularly come together to discuss our favorite games, both modern and retro, and pretty much anything else you could imagine. In addition, we are the home to two unique Game of the Month podcasts, which community members will play along over the span of a month, with a few coming together to record a podcast at the end of the month all about that game, sort of along the lines of a book club for games. This month we are playing Axiom Verge and The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and we continue to seek excellent games to play as future game selections. You can check out what games we have ahead of us on the forums over at cartridgeclub.org or on our Discord server and join in on the conversation. Today, we are highlighting the E3 press conference for Xbox and Microsoft. And joining us today, we have our panel. We have Ryan, also known as It's Rocket Sauce.
Hello.
One of the current hosts of the Cartridge Club Prime podcast and co-founder of the club, P1.
Yoshi.
And host of the YouTube channel Frantic Society and the Frantic Thoughts podcast, we have Josh.
What's up?
Thank you all for being here today. I am Musty Hobbit, host of the YouTube channel Second Breakfast, and we have a bunch in store for you over the rest of today and the coming days ahead. We realize that you could be watching any number of other outlets covering this global event, but we want to thank you for choosing us to break all the things down for you. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the monstrosity of a demonstration that we just got out of Microsoft, an hour and 40-minute presentation. And I want to kind of throw to you guys, what'd you think of just kind of balloon umbrella over this whole thing? What'd you think of what they brought to the table?
I like that term you used, monstrosity. I think that's fitting.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. You're going to have to find out as we talk about each one of these games.
Fair enough.
All 50 of them.
Yeah.
No, overall, I was impressed. I think this is exactly what Microsoft had to do. There wasn't a lot there specifically for me in general, but it was a good time. They did a good job. They didn't talk about hardware once till the end, I guess, when they said, hey, we're working on the next Xbox. But yeah, it was just games, some Forza, more games.
Forza is still a game.
No, Forza is life.
Apparently. Ryan or Josh, any thoughts on the presentation as an entire entity?
It was exactly what I was looking for. I wanted them to come out swinging, and I'd say they did that. Every single announcement, even if some of them weren't for me, I could be like, okay, this is for that type of person, and this is for that type of person. It felt like they kind of had everything, something for everybody. That's what it felt like to me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Ryan, how about you?
It was a decent show. I thought they nailed the message, games. But there's still, I think, more that I wanted to see, if you will. But it still was a pretty good show, I think they put on for now.
Fair enough.
I would say maybe it's even matching last year, where I think the focus was kind of heavy. It's been better. This is like another sign of them taking a step in the right direction.
I can't wait to find out what else you wanted after an hour and 40 minutes of straight gameplay trailers. That'll be great. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, you will.
Excellent. We'll get to that. So the thing I was thinking about going into this press conference, I was driving, getting back to the studio, and I kept thinking of the moment in the rebooted Star Trek movie where Eric Bana's character says, fire everything. I'm like, that's what they need. They need to just everything. Unload every cannon you have loaded, every gun that has a bullet in it. It all needs to go, and it needs to go today. And I feel like they did a pretty good job of accomplishing exactly that. So right out the gate, they hit us with Halo Infinite. And this was we have our first prediction from last night that went awry, but that's okay. So this is looking to be the next Halo game. Although Ryan, you have doubts.
I have doubts that it is Halo 6, but so if you're not going to call it 6, then I think my prediction is still right. So,
but it would be, well, I mean, technically it wouldn't be the 6th Halo game. But and in honor of this wonderful press conference, I'm drinking a green amp. So
I just want to say,
unofficial sponsor of the Cartridge Club.
It was also very much, there was no release date for it. It was very much, that there's another game coming, if you will. I don't know. I didn't get much of an impression of the game, what it was. To me, it didn't even look like a Halo game, if you will. But then again,
so I'm going to disagree with you strongly here.
Go ahead.
I feel like from what not knowing yet that it was a Halo game, there was lots of circular representation rings, if you will. To me, this harkens back to the first game, which I think is not was not something that they did by accident. I feel like they're trying to tighten the story back up. One of the things with 5 was that things were just kind of a little out of control. It was, arguably the weakest single player story of the series to that point. And I think they needed to kind of bring it back to the roots. I think that's some of why they're getting rid of the number, and why I believe that this is yet the 6th game, but it is the next, it's the one right after Halo 5. Perhaps Infinite implies some of this service-based storytelling, that maybe we have something that can continue on that's not just here's your 20 levels, go through the 20 levels, and here's this multiplayer suite, but here's something where they can continue to feed down the road. They can put further stories onto it, and maybe it becomes like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but Halo fans want to play as Master Chief, right? They don't play a Halo game so they can play as a bunch of ODSTs.
Agreed.
Nobody wants that.
Except for ODST, which was really, really good.
Yeah, I'm sure it was great.
It is really good.
How good was the sequel? Right. So that's how good ODST was. So I think this was good. The trailer, the trailer was good. It hyped me up a little bit. And if we've learned anything from E3, it's that you don't need a ton, especially for these big, tentpole franchises. You don't need a ton to get you pumped. Like sometimes you just need a cloudy 4 in the sky. You know what I mean? In the night sky. So at least they showed some animation, some CGI stuff there. It looked good. I think it's Microsoft's way of opening the show, saying, first off, it gets the crowd. It's a good opener because it gets the crowd amped up. Mm-hmm. So when he comes out on stage, they're not sitting there dry. You know what I mean? This is the opening act. It's, hey, let's get some pump out of the crowd so that when Phil comes on stage, you get that pop. That's why you put this where you put it. That's why you, even if you don't have that much to show, you show this. And at the same time, for all those people who are furiously tweeting, "Oh, where's all the first party games? Where's all the first party games? Come on, Microsoft, all you're showing me is third party stuff." At least this is this is our main franchise. Yes, we're making another one. Give me a break. We didn't just abandon it after Halo 5, people. Clearly there's going to be another one.
Yeah.
Please stop tweeting at us now.
Don't at me.
Yeah, don't at me, bro. That's what Phil should have opened with. Halo 6, don't at me, bro.
Yeah. I'm excited. Clearly it's not coming out this year, and I think that's okay. And I'm sure that you guys will probably bring this up a few times, that there's a lot of games that kind of have a long tail on this, which I think is both good and bad. We'll get into those specific examples when we come across those. But Josh, thoughts on Halo Infinite?
What I figure I was having is they have said multiple times that the Halo 5 multiplayer is so big that if they introduce a new, Halo game, that they feel like they might divide the player base. So maybe this is just an all new, like they can keep Halo Infinite multiplayer as the always running multiplayer and then add on story content as they go down the line.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so they can keep that multiplayer going forever, infinite.
So you're saying the Halo 5 multiplayer would be cross-play compatible with the Halo Infinite multiplayer.
Yeah.
And Infinite is just like story DLC for Halo 5.
It's the story that they can keep. So every couple of years, maybe they drop another big story campaign.
Exactly.
On it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I like the idea. I think that's.
You're wearing an Xbox shirt, Musty. You're going to like any idea that any of us say today. So
Fair enough.
You're drinking a green amp. Come on, man.
Yep. It was a sign. It was the only amp there. All right. Well, let's. You know what? There's so much. I really want to make sure that we give everything its day in the sun, or at least everything that deserves its day in the sun. Yes, seems like general excitement that there is a Halo game coming. But again, timeline is still yet to be determined. But last thing I want to comment: they built their own engine. This is a new engine.
Yeah, I meant to ask that. So I wrote down that in the notes. Slipstream.
Slipstream is a new engine. Yes,
that's awesome. I am a big fan of companies building their own engines for games. I think your game runs better if you build it that way. It's the same reason Nintendo games run best on Nintendo platforms. What are we, 10 minutes in here before I mention Nintendo?
There you go.
Although I guess I opened with Yoshi. When you build that engine yourself, your game's going to just run better because you're building the tools that you're going to put it on. Like, instead of trying to shoehorn it into Frostbite or Unity and make it work within their confines, you can literally design it to do whatever you dream of. So that's great. That is exciting. I think this was the perfect way to open this show, and I think it really set the tone for the next 100 minutes.
Definitely. And coming right off of this, Phil came out. Phil talked. He got his standing ovation. Crowd.
Much better today.
The crowd was much better, and maybe it's because they came out and hit you with that, right out the gate.
I think though they mostly focused, and it looked like the first 20 rows or 15 rows were people wearing esports shirts. So, and I know they said they had a bunch from their fan fest that were there. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering that they probably put their fans of the product up front, which is smart. It seemed like yesterday's show was mostly, I don't know if they were industry people and they just don't care. I mean, it seems that's what it came off yesterday with the EA show. This one seemed like they put their fans first and they put them up front. So, and I think that was a really smart move on Microsoft's part.
Yeah, I agree. So coming off of that, Phil did his little intro. He set the stage. We're going to have 50 games. We're going to have 18 with some form of exclusivity. And we're going to have 15 world premieres, things that we've never seen before. And the next game that came out is one of those exclusives. I didn't capture all of them. I tried to capture where there were exclusives, but
they threw that word around so much in a lot of instances when it doesn't mean anything that I don't think it really matters.
Yeah.
And we put a lot of emphasis on, I know I do personally put a lot of emphasis on exclusive games. Like that's the hill that I've chosen to die on. Like, if you don't have first party exclusive games, then you're not worthy of a console. But the bottom line is, whether or not these games are exclusive, you can fucking play them on an Xbox. You know what I mean? If you own an Xbox, you can play Battlefield 5. If you own an Xbox, you can play Kingdom Hearts 3. It doesn't matter that you can play it 7 other places. You can play it on these consoles. So I think we really need to ease up on you can only play it here and just accept the fact that these are games that can be played on this system. And I know I am probably the biggest defender of that, and I know I'm going to do it again today. But that's my piece to try and counterbalance myself.
I appreciate you coming out and saying that up front. Excellent. So the first game following Halo Infinite was one that we saw last year, and that was Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which we have as a 2019 release. I was kind of hoping that this was going to be a this year game, but I feel like we'll see this a bit. I'm trying not to lead too much, but I think there's a lot of games trying to get out of this fall, and I think they're scared of what is October, what is September and October of this year, and so I think it's a good move. I hope it's maybe early, maybe spring for Ori Will of the Wisps. Who has played Ori, and did this trailer do anything for you?
I haven't played it yet. I own it. It's high on my to play list, the first one. I like how it looks. It looks like a game I want to play. So who knows? Maybe a future game of the month. Who knows? Maybe. I think it really does interest me, this series. I hope these are the kind of things that draw me to Xbox. More of this, if you will.
Yeah, I have played the original Ori. Actually, Ryan gave it to me. He had a download code for it, and he ended up finding the physical, so he got rid of his download code. I graciously accepted. And I played. I didn't beat it. I played a good solid 5 or 6 hours of it, and I really enjoyed what I played. It's a very Metroidvania style game that's gorgeous with a touching story, and this looked like more of the same. But you could see the production value of this was higher, more detail in the backgrounds. It was more of the original, and the original was good. I can't see this being a bad thing. This was the only game, maybe one of two, that during the presentation, Colleen didn't say this one should be free as well. She said that a lot, but she looked at this. She was excited for it as well. So this looked it looked great. That's a company. I don't know if those are if that's a Microsoft studio that makes those, but if it's not, they need to get those guys in.
Yeah, so Moon Studio, I think the first Ori was one of their first games, I think.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the guy who did AM2R, the Metroid remake,
he got hired by them. Yeah,
he got hired by them, and he is helping with level design for them. So,
yeah. So this is when they come out next year and announce what 5 amazing developers they've sucked up into the Microsoft ecosystem. This needs to be one of them.
Yeah.
If it's not already, it might already belong to them. I don't know, because I think Ori is exclusive to Xbox.
The first one most certainly was. So yeah, I believe you're correct there. Yeah, I thought the trailer did a good job of conveying things. Having played the first game, seeing some of the powers that weren't there in the first game. There looked like even there was some like melee attacks that Ori was capable of. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. The music is fantastic. Josh, thoughts on Ori?
I haven't played the original yet. I love the art style, and it has a nice tone and like mood to it. And it's basically on my backlog for my CCABC. I just haven't got around to it yet. So, yeah, the new one, I love the art style. It has like that painterly feel to it. So, I mean, I could really get into that. And it's Metroidvania, so platforming game, I'm in. So yeah.
And it's one of those games that's like you can speed your way through it. You can take your time and really explore everything. I'm hoping for more of the same, and it looks like they're going to deliver that. So that's very, very good. So moving on to the next game. The next game that we got was a world premiere in that we have never heard the title before, although the game had been teased at a Sony event last year, and we were all speculating that this From Software game was either Bloodborne 2, or I know that at one point it was people were saying that it might be Kuon from the PS2 era, but it is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, a FromSoft title. Looks like almost looked like Tenchu for a little bit. And I had commented on that thinking that it may have been that, but FromSoft didn't have Tenchu before, so that may have been misguided. But I thought it looked great. It looks like it might be another Souls-like. Was this exciting for any of you guys, or did any of you feel like it was? I know you guys probably are not too Soulsy.
This, I imagine, was exciting for Souls fans. Mark would see it and be interested, I think, although he didn't like Bloodborne because he doesn't like the roll dodge mechanic. He prefers to go in sword and board and just get beat on. It's more of From Software does a type, and this is their type, so it will play well. The setting is nice. A feudal Japan, that's a cool setting. The game didn't get me excited. Watching it was good. I'm excited for people who like this style of game, and it was cool to see it on finally announced, on the big screen what it was, so the predictions or the guessing can end. But no, it didn't do anything for me personally.
Yeah.
Well, at first I thought it was Onimusha, so I actually stood up. I'm like, "Oh, they're doing Onimusha," and then I'm like, "Wait."
I had that same vibe for a second there too.
Yeah, and I was like, "Ah, shit!" And I realized it wasn't it after a few seconds, and then I'm like, "Okay, what is this?" And it looks a little more fast and fluid than even Bloodborne to me. So I was kind of like, I actually like Bloodborne, even though I get frustrated when I play it. I do enjoy it, but this actually looks like it's a little more fast paced. It had like a grapple hook, and I don't know, maybe it'll be a little more fun for people who aren't into the Dark Souls series because of that speed.
Yeah, there was a level of agility with this that I don't get out of standard Souls games. He was zipping all over the place, and
yeah. So now you have to be good at Soul style games and platformers. This will be a Let's Play title for me.
There you go.
It seems a little bit more hacky slashy, and like with that arm mechanic, the zipping around seemed, I guess that grabbed my attention a little bit. It got my attention where I kind of would want to try it out. I'm not sure about picking up right away because I'm not, still the most familiar with the Soul series games, but it definitely had my attention a little bit.
For sure. I wonder what this does to the Bloodborne 2 rumors now that the thing that everyone thought was Bloodborne 2 is not. We shall see. So next up, Todd Howard comes out. Todd Howard from Bethesda. Bethesda goes on later tonight, but Todd Howard decided to stop by and share some news. One of them, which gets reiterated later on, is that Fallout 4 is on Game Pass today. So if you have Game Pass, you can now download and play Fallout 4. They also gave a nice gameplay. It was a gameplay trailer of Fallout 76 and some of the little stats that it would be 4 times the size of the world in Fallout 4. We didn't really get a reveal on gameplay style, though. Like, is this overly multiplayer? There were moments where you were walking with people, but there's no telling if those are companions or otherwise.
Well, Bethesda also goes later tonight too, so I'm sure they want to. This is gonna be one of the games that they probably talk about at their show too. So maybe we'll get a little bit more detailed action out of it.
I guess surprised that they decided to show a little bit here today.
No, especially if they had this agreement for the Game Pass that they're gonna bring Fallout 4 to it and Morrowind. That it seemed like we'll throw you some action here. It didn't surprise me. They didn't show too much. They just showed a little bit of like the environment, what's going around here. Mm-hmm. But I think it fit, within the show with the topics of these Bethesda games coming to Game Pass.
Yeah. And it seems like it's set in Appalachia is kind of the vibe I got. Is it West Virginia area?
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, I have this feeling that it's going to feel like Fallout, but it's just going to have that survival stuff, of course. But I'm thinking that Bethesda has to have something bigger, because why would they have this big blowout trailer and then, I know this is for later, I guess, but why would they show all this Fallout stuff and then not have something else up their sleeve? That's just what I just wanted to say. Yeah. Well,
we can all predict what we think that big thing might be when we wrap up here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So yeah, more Fallout is great, and again the fact that they're willing to share it. It's always nice to see Todd Howard. He seems like a good dude. So the next game, I'm lacking really good segues today so far. So we'll see if I can pull something out from that. But the next game that came out is announced, and it is set in the Life is Strange universe, and that is The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is coming out on June 26th and is going to be free to download.
See, I was a little curious about that, because I don't know if that's just the first episode they're giving you free, or if it's the whole series. I don't think it's the whole series.
That is a good point. I didn't think about that as a multi-episode, because all the other games have been to this point.
And this last year they showed Life is Strange Before the Storm on their Xbox show, and then now they're showing it's not Life is Strange, it's The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. And at first I got excited because I really thought this was Life is Strange 2 coming, because they've teased it before that they're trying to go back to that universe, and maybe this is just something for it. But this was made by Don't Nod, who did the first Life is Strange game. Before the Storm was made by, I'm slipping on the name, something 9, I forget. So it didn't have the same voice actors. So I don't know. I'm just excited because I do kind of like this universe that it's in. So this is something that kind of made me a little happy. Just a little disappointed it wasn't Life is Strange 2.
Yeah. So what did you think about the? So the game seems like you're playing as a 10-year-old who has quite a vivid imagination.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that setup? Ryan, you've played the Life is Strange games and you obviously have a fondness for them. Do you think that fits well in the kind of structure of that style of game?
Yeah, I actually do. Especially if they're going to go with it, probably just as a kid's imagination. You can do a little bit more things, and I hate to say anything about the first game if people haven't played it, but this one seems to me, with if you're going to tell the story as a kid, doing it with their imagination to me just kind of fits. But you know, it's I'm excited to see what comes from this. We'll see. I like that the first trial is free, if you will, too. So really, I will probably download it the first day.
Very good. Awesome Adventures, P1, Josh.
It's free.
Okay.
I kind of got the vibe that it's going to be like a little short story, and then that this might actually tie into Life is Strange 2, maybe, or have like a Silent Hill style teaser at the end. Say, oh, Life is Strange 2 coming next year, type of thing. I don't know. You never know. Just a thought.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they're even calling to the fact that it's in the Life is Strange universe kind of alludes to the fact that the Life is Strange universe is going to continue on, right? So
yeah,
I think we're gonna get there anyways. This is a good little, maybe it's a palate cleanser, maybe it's just something to keep hype up on us on a year when they don't have that. Because when did Before the Storm, was that end of last year or was that earlier this year?
I want to say was that towards the end of last year.
Yeah. So if they go all of 2018 without a game in that universe, they might lose some of their momentum, and so this is I think a good way to kind of keep that going. And when we talk about lost momentum, we have the next game that was shown, which has been in some people feel development hell for a while. It has caused Microsoft to have to come out yesterday and be upfront about their release schedule because people were all speculating that this game was either canceled or delayed beyond anything. And so Crackdown 3 was announced as February 2019, and we got a new gameplay trailer, which had a ton of Terry Crews and lots of big explosions, big action moments. Now, one of you was really hyped for Crackdown, or one of you was really looking forward to it. Can't remember if it was Ryan. Ryan, was it you?
It was me.
Somebody said they were excited about Crackdown.
I think so. It had kind of a. I'm trying to remember what the name of that Capcom game that's very similar, where you destroy stuff. Is it a zombie one with all the different weapon choices, if you will?
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
Yeah, it had a very Dead Rising feel to me with like that rubber duck gun that they showed off here.
See, for me, it felt more like Scalebound.
Because it's canceled?
Yeah, because it's going to get canceled.
I don't think it's going to get canceled. This game looks better this year than it did last year. Like last year, so we've seen it 3 E3s now, right? No, 4 E. I'm sorry, no, that was 4 E3s ago, and then it wasn't there the following year, and then last year they showed it.
Announced in 2013.
Okay. Same amount of lead up time as Kingdom Hearts at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
very true. Are you trying to tell me that we need to move on?
No. I was gonna say that I do love Terry Crews, but I feel like he was a little annoying in the trailer in this one. I feel like they have him shouting too much, just constantly. I don't know.
I mean, does he have another volume?
I guess I've watched him in a few other things where he's not like that, so I'm not used to it anymore. I don't know, but yeah, I found the trailer a little annoying. The gameplay looks like silly fun though. So
there's a couple things I noticed in the trailer. One of them, the orb hunting was called out specifically. That if you're familiar with the Crackdown games, a lot of the progression is driven by collecting these orbs throughout the world, and they boost your agility. So it's almost your agility, your strength, your ability to leap higher, and so it becomes this chase to find these things, and they very specifically called out finding those and powering up from those things, which was good to see. I thought the art style looked better this year than it did last year. It looked muddy, which is why they had the Terry Crews live action trailer last year, to kind of maybe mask some of that. But this year, I feel like the graphical improvements are there. I'm optimistic. At least they've given us a date. Even Scalebound did not have a date.
Yeah, but the thing about this one is it's going into probably a bad time slot now for being released.
This is a good point. And if in fact, we're going to talk about a few of those in the second year that are probably in the same boat. February, end of January are all getting super crowded now.
Oh, it's getting bumped.
I mean, maybe they bump it to maybe they bump it to late March. I don't know. Yeah. Like maybe something else moves. We'll see. I think everything now is just trying to get off of, like I said, get off of October, get off of November. So why not try and slot into that? What seems to be the game of the year territory for date range nowadays, which is that first few months of the year. The next, I said year, which rhymes with Nier and Nier Automata, is coming to Xbox One in 2 weeks. Nier Automata, the Become as Gods edition is coming out on Xbox One on June 26th. I'm super excited for this. Ryan, I know that you have a special fondness for this game.
Glory to mankind.
Are you going to play through it another 6 times, Ryan, now that it's on Xbox?
If there's anything different, I still have to go back and do the other 20 other endings I didn't get. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll just stick with the PlayStation 4 version for now. But I want more people to play it, so, glad it's coming to Xbox. Wish they would have helped out to begin with, but, they didn't want it at launch.
What do you mean they didn't want it?
Is that what it was?
It was never a console exclusive. It was just that PlayStation's the only one who picked it up.
I don't believe that. I don't believe Square would have. I'm not buying that.
I don't remember.
It seems, and maybe this ties in with because kind of vibe I got with this show a little bit. And I'm sorry, P, and I'll let you just finish here in a second. They seem like this year they were kind of bringing a little bit more of the Japanese game developers. So, and maybe that's kind of what they were reaching for with grabbing some of these other titles.
Yeah. I don't think this was if this had been a PlayStation exclusive paid for by PlayStation, it wouldn't be on Xbox now. And at no point was it ever announced that it was a timed exclusive. So I think Ryan's probably right. Square Enix had this game, they were going to put it out, and Xbox probably just said no thanks, and then saw how popular it was and said, you know what, maybe we should probably get that.
It's the game that saved Platinum Studios too. So.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I wonder if that has something to do with because this is right around when Scalebound was getting canceled. So I wonder if there was some bad blood between Platinum and Microsoft. And
okay, that makes I would buy that more than Xbox just said they don't want it.
Yeah, that's possible.
That's possible. Yeah. But well,
anyway, it's good that it's coming. Like Brian said, it's good it's coming to Xbox. It's good for this game. It's good for Xbox.
It's good for the future of the franchise, too.
I just hope it sells. I hope that the core Xbox users buy this game because it's sort of out of their wheelhouse.
Well, so the next couple weeks are the time where we all need to start spreading the good word about 2B.
And not 2B.
Exactly. So let's see. Next up, Metro Exodus. This was revealed last year on the Microsoft stage at E3. We have a release date of February 22nd. So we should all start writing our eulogies now for Metro Exodus.
Yeah. I'm sure this will sell really well. At least 400,000 copies.
Exodus to the $20 bin.
Congrats. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer that they decided to. I mean,
it's not a big enough game that it can just shift its launch date by 3 or 4 months to get out of the way of some of these big hitters. You know what I mean? Because studios, it's studios like this need to hit those launch dates. The longer it sits, they're losing money.
Exactly. Yeah,
they're going to launch in the middle of a shitstorm of games. This game is, we're never going to hear from this game again. It's like the end of Usual Suspects. You know, my guess is after this, you'll never hear from them again.
Yeah,
it's kind of a shame though, because that series always seemed cool to me, and it's just one that I've never played. It seems like something that I would be really into, you know, first person, you know, nuked out Russia, whatever it is. I don't know. It looks really cool, but I don't know. I just never, and I can never get into it. Yeah.
I don't mean to trash any games, but what's it called? It just looks like there's with this game, it seems to fall in. There's Fallout, you know, and it's kind of like, okay, well, to me, I don't get enough different vibe from playing Fallout. Why should I play this one over Fallout?
Yeah, so I mean, this game series though is based off of, isn't it based off of a book or a book series, if I remember right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, they're drawing from some lore. Apparently, the first 2 games are excellent. I think at least one of them has been a game with gold. If you happen to have downloaded it, but I myself haven't played it either. I don't know that last year whether I was really all in on it or not. It looked compelling in the moment. I think I was more graphically impressed by it last year, or maybe even there was at some point where they showed it. It was like, this doesn't look as good as the last time you showed it to me. Maybe it was Gamescom where it was just kind of like.
Last year they showed it. It was running on the Xbox One X, and it was the most beautiful game you would ever see, and the most powerful games on the Xbox. So maybe you're desensitized to the beauty of the One X now that
maybe it's just been so excellent. Excellent, yes. Another thing that's excellent is that Phil came out again and said, hey, you know what? I've been talking to people over in Japan, and here's a game that's going to come to the Xbox platform that's never been there before. And we got Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. Josh, you've been super looking forward to this, so I want to give you a chance to kind of comment on what you saw. I know that it wasn't everything that you wanted to see, but
yeah,
tell us about this trailer.
Okay, so I saw it at first, and then I was thinking, okay, they're gonna do Frozen. They showed Frozen, and I don't know, something about just Kingdom Hearts always just gets me right there in the heart. I don't know why, but I started tearing up a little bit. I guess it's just been so long that I've been waiting for this game. And we finally have a date, even though it's in next year and maybe even later next year. They'll probably delay it again, knowing this game. But the trailer just got me. I don't know. I started. I don't know. It was one of those E3 moments. I was that weird kid in the audience crying about a video game. But yeah, just seeing Frozen and the Tangled world, and then I get into the Kingdom Hearts crap, I was still just smiling because, you know, that shit's ridiculous anyway. So, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. I'm just happy it's about to happen and seeing how nice it looks, and the game looks fun to play too. So that's always a good thing too. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
So Ryan or P1, having played very little or none of Kingdom Hearts, did this trailer do anything for you?
It looks really pretty.
Yeah, it looks like a Disney movie running, you know, with the Frozen. But my problem is I don't like Frozen. So to me, that's kind of
who doesn't like Frozen?
Well, you're looking at him.
Ryan, listen, whatever your beef is with Frozen, you just got to let it go.
No, I want to get, I guess, into the franchise. I had a hard time. I got stuck a little bit. April was a busy month for me, so I couldn't really finish up the first game. maybe I'll come back to it. I got some time before this one releases, so
I'm really glad that the fans of the series are getting this game finally, maybe in February. It looked really good. I'm excited it's coming out on a couple of platforms, so it's available to a lot of people. I'm never going to play it, so
Hey, that's all right. We don't have to play everything. Otherwise, you'd be playing 50 games from this show alone.
that's crazy. 18 of them exclusive.
That's right. And one of those exclusives was actually just a reveal of some future content for Sea of Thieves. And they have 2 new expansions or story content. I'm having a hard time figuring whether these are events or this is actual additional content or what, but they have the Cursed Sails, which is planned for July, and then the Forsaken Shores, which is planned for September. So,
Yeah, there was actually more spoken dialogue in this trailer than there is in the entire game.
well, they've been adding that this whole Megalodon thing that's been going on, Hunger in the Deep or the Hungering Deep, has added actual characters who are voiced for the first time. So,
But that's gone now, right? That's over. That was a timed event.
That event is wrapping up, yes. So I'm not sure if that is what these are, if these are just more events, or if these are actual like expansions to the world. Or I mean, the one seems like an entirely different game world that you can go to.
Yeah, this still feels like a really ham-fisted attempt to capture that Overwatch World of Warcraft magic. I think Rare is fumbling bad.
So neither of these enticed you at all. Did you like the thought of a skeleton, the world being populated by NPC?
Yeah, it'd be awesome if I could get up with a crew of friends and maybe have 2 ships together and go out and sail and fight off these skeleton ships. But I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to fight off the asshole people that are playing and the skeletons at the same time. It's going to be miserable. But it's only going to last for a month, and then they'll go back to having 0 content. So that's good.
I had no idea which one was which expansion pack too from this one. I guess the red one was the whatever.
So I didn't even know there was 2 until you just said it.
Yeah, so I kind of didn't get that vibe either. I thought they were, but like one of them looked like it was like Volcano World, and that to me was the Forsaken Shores, and then Cursed Sails is this skeleton.
See, I thought it was all one event. Like this piece of land rose up in the water, and so if they're doing a land-based event, their combat is not deep enough to make that fun for anybody. I mean, you've played it. It's literally spam your sword and hope for the best. You know what I mean?
So
I wish this game luck. But the longer on it goes, the happier I am that I've canceled my Game Pass.
Yeah. So okay, well. We will have to see, but they have promised at least 2 more major content updates, and this game has been out since March, so that'll be, as of September, that'll be 3. They did the event, and then these 2 additional content updates, which again, it's yet to be told whether these are actual events. We are not journalists, and so we do not have connections to people who know these answers yet. So
this is true. We're just amateur talking heads.
Yeah. So from there, we got our Battlefield V information, and I.
Yeah, what information? What? Because that came on right.
It was a trailer. It was a trailer.
Ready.
That's all.
It was like supper's ready, and I was like, okay, it's Battlefield. I'll sit down and turn around and I'll watch a bunch of gameplay here. And I sat down and I looked, and it was like Battlefield 5, and that was it. It was like you have to protect your family and yourself, and it was gone. And the way that EA talked about it yesterday, I thought we were getting like this. I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad what they did was just a quick glance. Yeah. But I was expecting like this long, drawn out gameplay. So I am happy that it went the way it did. Sure. It's just I was surprised.
I was actually a little disappointed by it.
Same. I was gonna say, if anything, this could have been cut from the show, unless they were trying to hit a certain time number.
I don't think they were, because it seemed like they were trying to get the time down because of how much they had. They could have easily cut this part. I mean, I guess just showing that, because there was no mention of Call of Duty anywhere on this stage.
True.
Because Sony has the advertising rights on it. But
Yeah,
it's one thing that I think we could have done without, Josh.
Hold on. So Sony
Sorry.
has the advertising rights to Call of Duty. Activision doesn't do E3 press conferences, and Sony's only talking before games. We're not going to see Call of Duty at E3 this year.
They did say they're going to talk about third parties at Sony as well.
I don't believe it.
You don't? I was going to ask, is this basically just a trailer for their war stories? It's the same.
Yeah, it was
Battlefield 1.
So the one from yesterday was saying that, okay, well, we're going to give you some information about this Nordelise story,
Okay.
and that was it. Yeah, I thought we'd have more. I thought that maybe they would have shown like some gameplay of it, but no, it wasn't there, which is strange. But what was there? And I actually, so I was expecting a big multiplayer thing for Battlefield, but we did get a big multiplayer demonstration because they made the stage was nice. They had this huge setup of monitors over on the side with dev consoles set up, and they decided to play a extended exclusive world premiere of Forza Horizon 4, which is partially Walmart Canada true, partially not. But they decided to do I believe a live demonstration. Others don't. Of Forza Horizon 4, announcing 60 FPS mode. They were showing kind of the shifts between seasons, and it will be coming out on October 2nd with Game Pass day one for that as well, which I think is a huge thing. I think we knew that was coming, but at least now we know that none of those Game Pass deals are like, you don't wait a week or 2 weeks. I know you guys aren't racing fans. I know that there's not a lot of people in the club who are racing fans, but was this intriguing at all to you, or do you like the Forza Horizon style of games as opposed to the motorsport ones, Josh?
Yeah, Forza Horizon's definitely something I want to play more of. I played a lot of 3. It's cool because it's the combination of the actual sports, the sports racing you see like a normal Forza or Gran Turismo, and then like an open world like Burnout. It's like kind of they have this colliding genre. That's pretty much what Forza Horizon is. And the idea of it being online doesn't bother me. It seemed like there were some complaints online that they're like, oh, there's gonna be people trolling you all the time. I feel like it won't be that big of a deal, but we'll see, because they tried this with Need for Speed. I don't remember the name of it. There's so many of those, but they had an online Need for Speed where you can pause or anything. And hopefully they look at that old Need for Speed game and say, okay, let's not do that again with our series, because that could really hinder the experience for people who just want to get in and race by themselves and have a good time. So I like the weather. The weather's a cool thing, changing weather. You're basically working with 4 different environments at that point, because you have 4 different seasons in this big map. So it's cool.
Well,
Go ahead.
And they had the lake ice over, and then they were driving across the lake. I like the presentation. They did kind of the 4D thing where they were like they showered the audience with like falling leaves at one point, which was kind of comical.
I didn't realize. I thought that was confetti. I didn't realize that was leaves.
They looked like leaves to me. I mean, they were probably some kind of regular paper, but yeah, they kind of had that. So Ryan, you didn't buy that was a live that was a live.
No, I mean there was demonstration to show off their controller for people with disabilities. That would, and they're showing all the different styles that you could play with your crews. There's no way, unless that's the game, that it just shifts like that with this perfect timing. They're like, okay, now we're going into the fall, and that was definitely all planned. Everyone fake playing on stage. So to me, it looked like game. It was gameplay where people played, but it wasn't them really playing. It was all edited to play.
So there's a couple things that could have happened. They clearly have run through this a few times. This could have been a previous playthrough. I'm not gonna, but I mean, this wasn't like a carefully crafted bot run presentation. I don't think. There was one point where one guy was getting super squirrely and like knocking stuff off on the side of the road, and I feel like they would have been a little more.
You don't come to a show like this and not practice what you're going to do. You just don't.
Right.
They have run this course. They have run that scene countless times. You know, who knows how many times they ran through their conference. And I guarantee, for timing purposes, they would have had them do it every time. Not only that, they need these guys to get up there and look good because nobody wants to watch a bunch of clowns.
Or the person who's like driving in their mouth just.
Yeah,
you know,
like it's.
We don't want that.
This was a practiced event, but it was real. Yeah, I have no doubt.
Yeah. And this was the one moment where we got to see the adaptive controller in use, which was a nice little subtle thing that some people picked up on. But I think some people also made the comment that they weren't hitting us over the head with the fact that, hey, here's somebody using the adaptive controller, or like specifically like start putting arrows and pointing at them.
That's cool.
I felt like that was a nice thing to do.
I was just gonna say I saw this the kiosks on stage, and I thought they were gonna do like this big battle royale game. They're like gonna have everybody fill up the seats.
I was kind of nervous about it too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The whole entire press conference, like, when's this battle royale game gonna come on? Because they have all these seats there.
Yeah, there were far more seats than they actually used.
Yeah,
at all in the entire presentation. It feels like they filled the first like base of 4 seats in each of those rows, and the rest were just there to kind of make it look uniform.
Yeah,
I mean, they did use the monitors. Granted, they did have the monitors showing logos of whatever they were talking about. At one point, when Todd Howard walked out for Fallout 76, they had the please stand by thing on each of the monitors, and so I totally thought that was what was going to happen, but it didn't
happen. Yeah,
it didn't happen.
It's just something I noticed. That's all.
Yeah, and in fact, the word Royale did not come up once, despite us even seeing from a game that I will almost talk about. But before we want to talk about that, Microsoft's big push was, and something that they have been promising to us, is that they are going to do what they can to start acquiring new studios to start making first-party Microsoft Studios content for them going forward. So we got the announcement of 5 new studios. And I know this has been kind of a big point that people who are on the fence about Microsoft have kind of touted as a reason for that. I'm curious to hear, I know, P1, I want to get your thoughts on the acquisitions. Do you want me to list them off real quick, or do you...
No, I can list them off. I got them here. Undead Labs, Playground Games, Ninja Theory, and Compulsion Games. I'm not familiar with
the Initiative,
and the Initiative,
which is a new studio.
Right. Yeah. So their new Voltron studio they built from the five strongest members of Chosen by the Lions or whatever it was. This is great. I started this show talking about how we put so much emphasis on exclusive games and how we give so much grief to Microsoft for not having them. This was essentially their answer. Phil Spencer came out last year and said they want to focus on games, and then we didn't get a bunch of games at E3. And I know I personally gave them shit for it, and I'm sure I'm not the only one on the internet who did. And then later on, earlier this year, he made another tweet saying, hey, listen, we're putting a bigger focus. Now that the Xbox One X is out and our hardware side is sort of taking a back seat right now, we are putting a bigger focus on making games. And again, I don't want to say I led the charge, but I was definitely one of the people who said, okay, yeah, it's great to say that, but how are you going to do it? Show us how you're going to do it. And they did. They went out and they said, here's these 5 studios. We're going to create one out of, we're going to make one Captain Planet studio called The Initiative. And then we're going to get these other ones that are good studios that are small, but that work. And when they said Ninja Theory, anybody who has played Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice knows Ninja Theory. Xbox does something very well. Their games are first-person shooter, sports games, racing games. They do that extremely well. They're technically sound. They're fantastic at doing that. They lack their biggest missing point, I think, for their first-party stuff is story. Super Halo fans are going to disagree with me. Super Gears fans are going to disagree with me. But ultimately, your show is a grunting gun fest. Studios like this, Ninja Theory, this is your story studio. Those guys who do Ori, they could do story too, I think, just based on how well they tell a story through the gameplay. But Ninja Theory Senua's Sacrifice was so good. For them to get this studio, it's not only a feather in their cap, but this is a sort of a shot across the bow against Sony, where people are like, you know, when you listen to Sony fanboys, they list off, well, Sony has Nier, and Sony has Hellblade, and Horizon, and Uncharted, and they list off all these games. Yeah, well, you know what? Now Nier and Hellblade are both on Xbox, pal. So now your list is getting shorter, and now all you have is third-person cover-based shooters. You know, so it's balancing out. It's a great pickup for them. Super excited. And if you haven't played Hellblade, you got to get it.
Yeah.
I like it. Just, I don't want to say it levels the playing field, but you know, we talk about all these studios: Insomniac, Naughty Dog. There's another one, Sony Santa Monica. We talk about these guys, and they're like, yeah, these guys are awesome. This is what makes Sony games great. Well, now you have a stable of established studios. You're not trying to build from the ground up, with the exception of the Power Ranger studio they made. Now we have this stable of studios that are already established, that already have games that they can bring in, and they can work on new stuff, and they can give Xbox fans some of that experience that maybe they missed in the past, and they can maybe tell the rest of the world to pump the brakes a little bit on the Xbox game first party rhetoric, which I'm still going to do, but
hey, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, this brings it to 11 studios just under that Microsoft Studios banner. In addition to the kind of ones that a lot of the ones that they had sort of spun up, right? 343, the Coalition had kind of been spun up. Turn 10 they picked up a couple of years ago, and I'm quite pleased that Ninja Theory announcement. I put an exclamation point in the notes because that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they were listing the studios off, and I was like, he got to that point, and I was like I said, I'm not super familiar with all of them, but I was like, okay, cool, they're getting the studios. That's awesome. He said Ninja Theory. I sat up in my chair and I looked at Colleen, and I was like, wow. And even she knew. She was like, oh, that's the Hellblade studio, and I was like, yes, it is. So when you've got somebody who doesn't really follow gaming to the same level that some of us crazy people do, recognizing that on stage, that's a big deal. That's that's a huge pickup for them, and that's good for Ninja Theory because they did Hellblade on a shoestring budget.
Yeah. So
now if they can get some more money from Sony, you know, you're gonna see a lot of stuff. And now I got to buy an Xbox One X
from Microsoft.
Who? What conference are we at?
Yeah. So and I let's not forget Ninja Theory also did Enslaved,
and one of the worst Devil May Cries you will ever play,
and Heavenly Sword. Yeah. Hey, somebody out there's got to like that game too, right? Like,
I don't know who.
The Playground games make sense, and since they do Forza, but they have been rumoring or hinting that the Fable game, they're making the new Fable. Do you think they're going to announce it later on?
Phil said something, and he said they were going to talk about what they were doing later, and I thought he meant later in the show.
Mm-hmm. So do you think it's like a Gamescom thing or something?
I feel like that would make sense. So yeah, the rumor, for those who aren't aware of it, there is no Treehouse. The rumor is that Playground Games has a second studio that they've been spinning up, or a second team that they've been spinning up using their open world knowledge and expertise, and applying that to the Fable franchise. And so I think a lot of us, I said it last night, that was my prediction, was that we'd talk Fable. Wasn't there. But yeah, I thought later meant in the next hour, because there was still an hour left of the presentation at that point. But yeah, I have no doubt it's coming. That actually bodes better for I mean, if they would have announced that on top of everything else, I don't know what would have happened. This whole stream might not have happened. I don't know. I would have been passed out on the floor over here or something. But yeah, so and in that case, if I had passed out on the floor, I'd probably need to give me some medication so that I would feel better. And so from that point, the next game that they talked about was We Happy Few from Compulsion Games, recently acquired by Microsoft Game Studios, and we got a release date on that game, which has they've kind of been stringing that game along, and so we have a release date now of August 10th this year. Who's looking forward to We Happy Few, or what did you guys think of what they showed us of We Happy Few?
This was the first I've heard of it, and I don't know if it's just me, but your camera's out on my end. So maybe it's just me.
Fine for me.
Okay. Now you're back. So yeah, this is the first I've heard of this game, and I thought it looked great. I'm very interested in it. We'll definitely check it out. But this was originally announced as a PS4 release. So is it? I didn't notice if they used one of their 85 exclusives on this or not. Is this game just Xbox One PC now? Is it no longer coming to PS4?
I think this game. That's a good question.
I thought it got announced at Xbox. Am I wrong?
I thought it did.
I'm just going based off of the super in detailed write up on cartridgeclub.org, where it does state, and I mean, Dean is not often incorrect.
You're right. So, Sean, do you like survival games?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, for sure. And that's what this is, right?
Yeah, it's a survival game with as a storyline, and then there's a storyline in the main city. But if you go outside the main city, there's a survival like mechanic where you have to stay do your thirst and your hunger and all that stuff.
Yeah, Don't Starve is a Nintendo Switch game that is quite good. That's similar to that. It's a survival game. But I really like the idea behind this. You know, the masks controlling people's emotions, and I think it looked good. I'm definitely interested. This is one of the games that I got peaked up for.
It's very very Bioshocky.
I was going to say that exact same thing. So yeah, Bioshock vibes. Yep.
Ryan, did We Happy Few make you happy?
Eh.
Okay.
Nothing really.
Fair enough. Then move on to the next. So I mentioned that the word Battle Royale didn't come up. However, we did get a trailer from PUBG that revealed... The way they did this trailer, I was really confused by it because it was far more action-packed than I've ever seen a PUBG game be. And it's because they've added a war mode. What that means, I don't know. It seems to me that's a 50-on-50 head-to-head type thing. Is this them trying to... does this exist on its competitor, or is this something that they're trying that isn't on the other?
I don't understand. I thought this game was already out.
It is.
No, this game is still in preview, so technically,
when I originally saw this, I thought this is okay, like the final game coming, if you will, or the complete game. But it seems like this is just more, and it's not it's them their way of saying no, it's not done yet. You know, we're just gonna keep going with this, I guess.
I think I feel like this style of game is just never going to be fully finished, right? Yeah. Like they're always trying to add something, right? Like you get Thanos showing up in your game, or you get this mode which may exist elsewhere. Now they've got to try and compete against the AAA titles that are going to start bringing their modes as well. So
PUBG's in its death throes. This game won't exist in 2 years.
I do not disagree with you on that.
So in this trailer, Dean noticed that in this trailer on the Outhouse, it said summer 2018. And then on the Xbox screen at the end, on the screen for the conference, it said winter 2018.
So I think there was a map. I think there was a map reveal called Sandhook.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think the map is coming out I think the map is live now, is what the impression I got. Okay. And then the war mode is winter, which seems silly because you should be able to get that mode in unless they're trying to, I don't know.
PUBG's in its death throes. Fortnite killed it. As soon as Fortnite became hot, as soon as Drake picked up a controller, Fortnite, or a keyboard or whatever he played it on, you might as well have checked PUBG off the list. That game is toast. To still be in
the MySpace of Battle Royale games.
It is, yeah. Tom and his friends will be playing it next week, and that's it. To still be in development or not officially released, at this point, you're a joke. Get it together. You know what I mean? Release your game or whatever. Go to court. Sue the people who are doing it better. That's, yeah.
It still didn't look polished or finished, in my opinion. It looked kind of choppy running there for a minute. From when I played it, they did a free weekend giveaway for PUBG. It was fine, but it ran still a little choppy. So it's, I know they've done patches and everything, but and this trailer confirmed that it's still choppy. So it's...
Yeah, my guess is after this E3, you'll never hear from them again.
Well, all this stuff is actually available on PC already. So The war mode is
is it? Okay.
Yeah, the
well,
war mode is a team deathmatch mode. That's all it is. Basically, you have each it's 50 on 50 like you said, but each team has a life pool, and you can respawn. That's the difference. And,
so it's Battlefield.
Yeah, pretty much. And then that map,
it's Battlefield with tickets.
And then
right?
and the map is basically just a smaller map. So it's just like, oh, here's the smaller map like Fortnite has, and here's this thing like Call of Duty and Battlefield has. So there you go.
That's very interesting. Well,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. Someday, way in the future, people will tell tales of PUBG, and for now, they can tell the Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. I tried.
All right, I tried. I gotta go.
Well, I want to hear.
That was good.
I tried. I was going to try and do a Dead Men Tell No Tales, except Tales of Vesperia. So
oh boy,
maybe that one's better. Are you? You seem to be excited about this, or you want to talk about it?
I'm not excited about it. I'm not gonna. I have it on 360. I've never played it. I'm not gonna play it on Xbox One. But I know the Tales series has a massive fan base that loves these games. And if Sony has taught us anything, it's that you don't have to make everything backwards compatible. You just need to re-release a slightly prettier version of it to sell your console. So I think this is a good move. I think it's the first time Xbox has redone a 360 game for the Xbox One. I can't think of any others. The rest of them, they just make it so you can play your old discs instead of charging $60 for a new one. But this is, if you're going to give it to a game, because those old Vesperia discs are hard to find. You know, that's a tough one to come by. It's actually kind of like Lost Odyssey. That was a tough one to come by. Also backwards compatible now on your Xbox One. This is exclusive. This is a good one because it is exclusive. Tales of Vesperia is exclusive to Xbox, and it's good because Tales fans, you know, they did say we're trying to get more of our Japanese audience. So here's a bunch of Japanese games, and this is a Japanese game, so it's a good move. You know, and it was at that good point in the conference as they were going through stuff. It was like, hey, here's a quick remaster we're doing. Get excited. Let's move on.
Yeah, it's like, oh, now that we've talked about PUBG, let's rein it back into those games. The games that people who don't just want to kill each other play. Yeah, so this is the first Tales game that'll be on the Xbox One. But yeah, Ryan, Josh, Tales of Vesperia.
It looks pretty.
It did look pretty.
Yeah. I don't know much about that series.
I have no interest in this series, but it is a good sign for Xbox taking a step in the right direction, getting more Japanese developers, if you will. Yeah. You know, because there are people who play these games, and you want to maybe bring those people into your platform, basically, who probably haven't been on your platform because you see it as one thing, you know, or two things, not the games you're looking for.
Yeah, very good. So, at this point in the game, or at this point in the show, we effectively hit roughly about the halfway point, which is crazy to think that we've had so much up to this point. I want to take a quick moment to thank one of our sponsors, and this is the Polykill podcast. Want to say, come celebrate 69 episodes of podcasting with Polykill live this Thursday, June 14th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. Be ready for all the usual shtick, including poorly harmonized transitions, devolved humor, misinformed hot takes, and community polykills. Expect plenty of post-E3 sass, mockery, and excitement. Again, that's Polykill live Thursday on Twitch at twitch.tv/polykillpodcast. Come ready to participate and have a good time. So I want to thank Travis and Jake for supporting us and for being part of the community, and we want to help celebrate some 69 with them. Moving back, something that usually needs to happen after that is a Division 2. So this was the first, this trailer. World premiere. I got the same vibe that others did, that this might be Splinter Cell. The Then the moment they said it was in DC, I think I had recalled that somebody leaked a picture of the Division 2 banner that had the picture of the Capitol. And at that point, I was like, okay, that's what it is. But yeah, so they gave us a trailer, and then they gave us a gameplay demo of it. And they had done the Division 2, like when they revealed Division 1 a few years ago. They did the same style of demo, right? It's sort of showing mission structure and giving a general feel of what that flow is going to be like, and you kind of get some of that banter. What did you guys think of the Ryan? What did you think of the gameplay, the trailer, all sort of that whole layout that they did for Division 2?
For this, after the trailer where they showed the gameplay, I felt it actually halted the convention. It kind of brought it to a screeching halt to me, where this trailer seemed like, well, not trailer, the gameplay seemed like it was taking too long. It really, this is what, to me, I felt like we're rolling, we keep seeing games, and then this one just pumped the brakes a little bit and really dragged out the Microsoft show. And this was kind of probably the lowest of highs for me, the lowest of lows, if you will, in the Xbox conference, where I got up and got a drink of water, and I came back and it still wasn't even close to being over with. So this, to me, I could have done without this. Maybe that trailer, the reveal trailer, great. The gameplay, I thought maybe they could have saved this part for maybe the Ubisoft show tomorrow. This didn't flow well with me.
That's interesting. Yeah, there was some cool stuff, like some of the weaponry was cool to see, but yeah, there's something about the banter between orchestrated presenters.
I love that banner. I don't want to hear it. I love it. It's great.
I hate it.
You do?
It's great. That's how I wish it was when we played games. Instead, we get, my dogs barking in the background and Ryan yelling at his kids, which is weird because he doesn't have kids.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, I love that banter. I love that canned dialogue between people as they play. I dream of a world where all online play is like that.
This was at least like it was polished. They knew what they were talking about. None of them are like, no one burped in the background or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean, no one burped in the background.
Did I burp on this one?
No.
Nope.
No.
Not this one. Yeah, I like that dialogue. But at first, I wasn't sure if this was a commercial for the Division or if it was a commercial to get out and vote. Just because it opened, all this talk about DC and all these different
the United States
embassies.
has fallen.
The United States is on the brink of, like, direct quote, America is on the brink of collapse. But how do you save a nation when its enemies come from within? I was like, oh yeah, man, you got to vote. Like, if the next scene had just been like that just said vote with that big check mark, I would have figured, okay, Microsoft is doing its part. Here we go.
Let's go take back the Capitol.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was weird, really on the nose where they chose to put this one.
But just remember, there's a dude rushing through the plane.
Yeah, 372 days since the infection began, or however many days it's been.
Yeah, I agree. They probably could have cut a little bit of it. They potentially could have. The opening of it kind of dragged. There was a point when they kind of came to a clearing, and all of a sudden you realized you were in the city. If they would have started it there, maybe they wouldn't have felt like it went on too long. I almost need to go back and see it again to see how long that opening stretch was. Because once they got into combat, I thought it was fine. There was some cool stuff that I got to see there. And
I liked Division 1. I played it a little bit with two of my friends online. When we played together, it was a good time. Alone, not so much. I didn't enjoy it as much because it's really heavily built around being in groups, especially when you get into the instances. But I enjoyed it, and I think Division 2 would be good. It's not something I'm going to play. I just don't have the time to sync up for stuff like that, especially if it comes out around the same time as other games that I may or may not be playing with friends. So, yeah, I don't. It's not a bad series, and it must have sold well enough for them to make a sequel.
Yeah,
well, not like ODST, which only got one.
Stop it. If you are interested in playing the First Division, one of the new things as of today is that Game Pass has added The Division, Elder Scrolls Online, and Fallout 4, which I mentioned earlier, have all been added to Game Pass, in addition to some other features. What do you guys think of the Game Pass news? Is this
That's a great get, I think. Fallout 4 and being partnered with Bethesda for that, it's a great get. I feel like in the future, it's probably going to expand more and more because this Game Pass thing, it's only like 6 months old, something like that. I think that it's going to just keep growing and growing, and especially getting more partners with big studios like this it's just a positive.
Game
honestly.
Pass is a year old. They announced it last E3, didn't they?
Is it a year old? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It hasn't been around forever, so it's still an early, thing.
Yeah.
So.
I agree that this made it stronger. Game Pass, as time goes on, Game Pass gets better. And now that they're adding in more current third-party games,
Day and date third party also, which is nice.
That's great.
They mentioned Ashen, Vermintide 2. There was some Phoenix something. This was the point when games were getting named off so quickly that I couldn't write them all down.
Those are indie games, though, right?
Yeah. Well, then
Ashen was one they showed last year in their ID at Xbox. Vermintide 2 is a Warhammer game.
Yeah, that's after party game too, right?
An after party, yeah, which is that like pixely
Oxenfree people.
Oxenfree guys, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good process. It's a good program. Game Pass only gets better. I'd like that it's download, not stream. Hopefully they keep that. And if they can keep adding titles like this, it is the future of gaming. This pay per month streaming service, and it's a good deal. If you can get games like that for $10 a month, if you are new to gaming or you're new to the Xbox ecosystem, it's a good way. You could go out and buy a console, and for $10 a month, you have unlimited games. Like if you're on a budget, we talk about games, and they talk about 50 games. We talk about buying games, and I prefer physical over digital. I'm only gonna it's great. You financially able to do that. You can go out and you can buy $60, $70 games, $80 if you live in Canada, every month or twice a month or 3 times a month. But if you're not if you live on a budget and you still want to experience games, you could do it now for $10 a month, and there's a massive library for you to play. And not only that, there's new games coming to at the same time. So you're not waiting like a year to play it's a good program. It's a good process. I think it is the way of the future.
Yeah. So one of the things that she brought up when she was talking about it, they had her name was Ashley. She was the lead on Game Pass who came out. She was talking about one of the features that I don't know if it's a feature or if it's just an improvement to their, delivery device, because right now the way the games load onto your system, they load a portion of the game, and then at that point it says, okay, the game is ready, you can start it. But it usually starts and there's a reduced number of there's a reduced amount of content available to you, so you might only be able to.
And you get a loading screen with the background of that game. Is what happens. You don't get to play any of it.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, that's not true. For example, if you download NBA 2K18, or if you're loading it off of the disc, at some point it'll say you can start it, and you can get in there and you can play like exhibition games only. They won't let you get into some of the deeper areas. What they're saying they have now is called Fast Start, which I believe is going to look at what people go to most often when they first go into the games, and then make that the stuff that gets prioritized to download first when you're downloading. I think that was kind of my interpretation of it. But we'll have to see. They said that that's coming in the June update. It means that people are going to be able to get into the games twice as fast, which if you're having a Netflix experience where you are deciding what to play, you can't plan that 6 hours ahead of time if your internet's really bad, right? You need to be able to say, okay, maybe give me 5 minutes, 10 minutes to at least give me something I can play from the moment that I say that I want it. So hopefully that does something there. They also said Halo Master Chief Collection is coming. Of course, they mentioned Forza Horizon 4 and Crackdown 3, as well as these additional third-party games are all going to be day and date when they release, available on Game Pass, which is excellent news. And I'm sure that there will be some of these games. There was then the sizzle reel, the ID at Xbox, sizzle reel of
That's still a terrible name.
So independent developers at Xbox program. They went through a quick sizzle reel of a bunch of titles very, very quickly. And instead of going through the entire list, what jumped out to you guys? I was so frantically typing the games out that I kind of missed. I may have even missed one.
I got them all here from Dean. We got Outer Wilds, After Party, Kingdom 2 Crowns, The Golf Club 2019, Warhammer Vermintide, Fringe Wars, Below, Conqueror's Blade. Below is one that jumped out. Waking, Raji, and Ancient Epic, Super Meat Boy Forever, Planet Alpha, Islands of Nine, Battle Royale, Sable, Harold Halibut.
Was it Islands of Nine Battle Royale, or is that just it was a Battle Royale style?
It is a Battle Royale. Harold Halibut, Bomber Crew, Children of Morta, The Wind Road or Wind Road, War Groove, Generation Zero, Dead Cells, and Ashen. Two that jumped out are Below and Ashen. Hasn't Below been being talked about for like a decade now? Haven't we been waiting for this game forever? Like that was on the Xbox 360
not a decade,
launch,
but yes.
wasn't it?
No, it was not 360. No. It has been. It was supposed to be like 2 or 3 years ago that they first. Actually, you know what? They may have revealed Below when they revealed the Xbox One.
Okay.
So not the 360, but
So
it's kind of been quiet. And at one point, the Below developers just said, "You know what? We're working on it. We're going quiet. We'll come to you guys when we're ready." And so
2013 was Below, so it'll be out before Crackdown at least.
Rumor has it. They didn't give a release date. They just said
They didn't give one for Crackdown either.
they said February.
That's not a date.
Well, it's February 1st then. Right?
It has to be.
Yeah. Did any of these jump out for you guys, Ryan or Josh?
Maybe Super Meat Boy Forever, but then again, I've never played the first one. It's just a game that's always kind of been like on my radar, but other than that, nothing really stood out of this part for me.
I had to rewatch it again. There's just so much there. I'm trying to remember what they all look like. It's a lot. Below does look interesting, and I've been pretty excited to try out Dead Cells for a while, ever since it came out on PC as early access. So
The problem with this one is for me is just it's flaring so fast that I lost them. I don't remember which one because they're all coming at me. So
yeah, it was just a bit much. If I watch it again, I can kind of probably get a better feel for what each of the games are. Surprisingly, I would say Super Meat Boy Forever, but it doesn't really, and it doesn't look as good as the first one. I'm just gonna say that, but okay, yeah. Okay. But yeah, it was just hard to keep track of what all this is.
Yeah, so we would encourage you to go watch the sizzle reel. We will probably go rewatch it ourselves at some point, but there was so much going on that we didn't catch everything there. And so they shifted back to another big Square Enix trailer reveal, not even a reveal, but just a trailer drop, and that was for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And that I thought the trailer looked nice. Ryan, what did you think about the Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
I mean, the game's interesting. I like the new theme, I guess, or the game style for Laura. But the thing is, it seems like Microsoft is
Lara.
It seems like Microsoft is trying to make this their Uncharted with the marketing, at least for it. Like I've seen her like scroll her face with Master Chief and everything too now. So it seems like they're trying to say, hey, even though it belongs in everything else, it seems like they're trying to claim her as theirs. At least it stood out to me with this trailer too. That,
I mean, they did with Rise of the Tomb Raider, right? They had that exclusivity for a year on Rise of the Tomb Raider, and so they did at that point. So yeah, I could see that where they're trying to perpetuate that relationship. The fact that Square was willing to put, I mean, that was a pretty substantial story trailer. I thought it looked nice. What did you, Josh? Are you interested in this more recent string of Tomb Raider games, or?
Yes, I really liked the reboot, and I went to play the second one, and I kind of fell off because it's one of those open world things. It's so much to do. I'm like, I'll get back to it. I never did, and I've been actually recently replaying it in anticipation for this one. So I am looking forward to it. I just feel like they're just really good action third-person games. I mean, and the puzzles are really fun, and you kind of know what you're going to get when you go into these now, I think. So, yeah.
P1, how about you?
Sorry, I'm looking up stuff on this Tunic game. Yeah,
We're going to talk about Tunic in a second. Calm down.
Let's go, Lara. It's Uncharted with Lara Croft. It's the better Uncharted. It's
the original.
Yeah.
The original.
I don't know. I liked. Oh yeah, I guess it is the original. I liked the reboot from like 4 years ago, and I haven't played them since. I'm not going to play this one. They look good. I'm glad they exist. I think it's important to have Tomb Raider in the gaming scene, and I hope it does well. But it's I'm not going to play Uncharted either. I can't do over the shoulder third person shooters anymore. So go Tomb Raider.
Hey, that's all right. So the next was a little string of console launch exclusives, which to me is limited release window exclusivity for consoles. Right? Are we all in agreement that that's probably what that means?
I guess so. That wasn't worded, I guess, the best in my opinion. Yeah, it's an assumption. It's an assumption.
I suppose they're not going to go and be like, this one comes out this many days before. Like, they're going to use one common language, I think, for all of it. So that is at least my interpretation, unless you guys feel otherwise. It just means that for console, it comes out here first.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first of which was a skateboarding game called Session.
I thought this was Skates. Sorry.
I was gonna say. I was like, oh, if this is what I think it might be. Josh might be excited.
I was excited. I'm excited in general for skateboarding games. It's one of my. I don't know what it is about skateboarding games I like. They're just fun, and there's a severe lack of them right now. And I knew it was going to be Skate because they would have announced that yesterday. So I'm like, is it going to be that Session game? I kind of seen some screenshots of, and it ended up being that. And it looks like a skateboarding game. I don't know what there is going to be more to it than that. And hopefully it's just fun to play. That's all I can ask, really. So, yeah. There needs to be more skateboarding games. That's my opinion. So.
Do you feel like was this a gameplay representation in your eyes?
It felt pretty early in my opinion, and I think it's an indie studio doing it, like a small team. So hopefully it's good, because it's easy thing to mess up. Like you do an ollie and you're
clearly Tony Hawk 5.
Yeah, yeah. You do like an ollie and you're floating around, and it's like very not tight controls, and you're not going to have a good time trying to make the combos. It's all about controls. That's all I care about. So it's hard for me to like gauge if it's going to be good or not. It looked pretty, had nice graphics for what it is. So, yeah.
Sean, what's your thought on Session?
Go Tomb Raider. I don't know, man. I'm glad that skaters are happy for skating games. Yeah, it wasn't even, I don't know, man. It was a trailer from a guy on a skateboard. I might as well have watched, a BuzzFeed video. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Sorry. I was hoping you were going to skip me.
Well, you had yourself.
I didn't realize I was unmuted.
You looked like you had something you wanted to say. So
I do have something I want to say because I just found some information out and I can't wait to share it. Let's move on.
Okay. Ryan, we good with moving on from Session?
Yeah, I thought it was Skate 4. I thought that was going to be like something that maybe EA held off to show at Microsoft's, because I think EA does Skate, right?
Yes.
So I thought maybe it was something, and then I see it's something else. It looks very much like a skate game, but we'll see. We'll see more for it when we get more from it.
Okay. Well, then the next one that they showed, another console launch exclusive, is the MMORPG that they revealed last year called Black Desert. And this was kind of a standard MMO story trailer reveal. didn't really do a lot for me, but maybe did it inspire any of you? Are you intrigued at all?
I thought this was maybe your Fable that you're hoping for. I didn't.
Oh, I knew right away it wasn't Fable. Like
So-
it just did not look like Fable to me.
I was scratching my head, but after seeing that, I'm like, ugh, another MMO. So this is not for me.
Yeah, that's it'd be interesting. I think this one said that it was coming to Game Pass. I think at some point, and so if we get an MMO built into your Game Pass subscription, cool. But
Isn't ESO Elder Scrolls Online?
oh, sorry, Elder
Game
Scrolls
Pass.
is there. Yes,
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls is your MMO on Game Pass. What am I thinking? Getting Black Desert and Elder Scrolls confused. What's wrong with me? Moving ahead, we get the big Capcom splash and a world premiere of Devil May Cry 5, and I felt like the trailer did some cool things. I know that Ryan, you've been looking for this game for quite a while, so
Yeah.
why don't you to tell us a little bit about what you saw and your thoughts on the whole thing? Like,
So first with Devil May Cry, this game's been rumored, I believe, since last E3, and then there was a big rumor circulating around PSX that they were going to reveal it there, and then for some reason it didn't debut there. It's from my understanding, it was close to being done around that point in time, but that's just the rumors rumbling here. And then they revealed it today, and I knew it was Devil May Cry when I first saw it, but I was first very angry, like that Chris Farley bit where he finds out about Folger's coffee crystals, when he was lied to. That's how I felt very much so, because when I saw what I thought was Dante, I'm pretty confident now that that's Nero, who is the main character for Devil May Cry 4. And they kind of, I believe, showed Dante at the very end. So I kind of came back down because I really do not like the Dante from the what's called the Ninja Theory version of the DMC. I hated that game. I hated it. So I kind of calmed down. Now I want to see more from this game. I don't think they gave a release date yet. It was just nice to know that, hey, the rumors are true. I am a big fan of the series, so I'm very happy. This was one of probably one of the more highlights for me. So I'm glad that it's coming out. So
excellent. So
I'm really confused because Ryan gives me more grief over my statement that graphics and looks matter than anybody else on the internet. So his haircut shouldn't matter, Ryan, right? Because it's just the gameplay that matters. It's not how he looks. You don't care about that.
the game sucked.
But you said, I can quote you here. Oh man, it's the Dante from the last one.
I did with the short haircut. The short haircut and the younger approach to it.
But as long as he controls well, it doesn't matter what he looks like.
I don't care. I don't like that Dante, and I don't think the universe hates that. I think the universe hates that Dante.
If I could get Derek to gift this moment so I could just share it in my Twitter chats with Ryan every time he gives me grief for being a graphics whore.
Just wanted to Ryan, the only Devil May Cry game I've ever played was DMC, and I really liked it. So
you played the worst one.
I don't know. That's the only one I've ever played.
Yeah, so they brought out the head developer. Is he the? I wasn't familiar with either of those guys. One of them.
Yeah, to be honest, I think he did Devil May Cry 4, which I really enjoyed. But I can't confirm that. I'm not too familiar with his name. So
he had my favorite moment of the conference when he said, "English is hard, Matt. You do it." Yeah, and his name is Hideaki Itsuno. Yeah, I don't know. He was good. Ryan seemed semi-excited for it, so I was excited for him to get a game that he's excited for. I also never played Devil May Cry, but I know it's in the same vein as Bayonetta. I think they might even exist in the same universe, and those are fun. So this would probably be fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the trailer. They brought up some of the tech that they're doing to do like the full character scans to actually. I mean, like the graphics on that looked really impressive. Granted, some of that was cutscene stuff, and so
Yeah, I want to see a little bit more in gameplay footage too. But
Yeah.
I just like knowing that it's coming, at least, if you will.
Some of that gameplay though looked pretty smooth to me, or at least fast. I think. I'm no Devil May Cry person, so really don't have room to talk. But I thought it looked cool. So, is it 1 through 4, or was DMC 4?
DMC was try to be a reboot where they're trying to do something different, where they were saying, okay, let's reboot this from the very beginning. Oh, it's almost like they're trying to do like a prequel to the first game, if you will, too. But
Okay.
it was more.
So you had 1 through 4, then they did DMC as a side project. They came out and said something about them being back, and to me that meant that it was back from 4, not back from DMC.
Yeah, I think because they said the last one was 10 years ago. I think they said too. So, well, in relation that to this particular series, if you will, if it's going back to the Devil May Cry series, this being 5. So,
Okay. Good. Any final thoughts on Devil May Cry before we move on? Nope. Okay. Well, now would be a good time if any of you are thirsty to get a drink. And if you do, you might want to use a cup. And we can fill it with some DLC from Cuphead, including an additional character, Miss Chalice, who was the character in the little not mosques. What was it called? The little cemetery. Missing that. And this was something that was predicted last night or during our show yesterday. Josh nailed this one. We're getting Cuphead DLC, and so I totally missed the name of the add-on. I just know that it was
The Delicious Last Course DLC.
So smart. However, interesting point. They referred to this as a console launch exclusive.
Yeah, so we got to talk about that because console launch exclusive means it will appear on another console after Xbox One. That's what it means.
That is what it means.
They've never used that term in relation to PC. And Xbox has that weird rule where if it's available on Xbox, you can instantly play it on Windows, right? That Play Anywhere thing.
For certain titles will be Play Anywhere, yes.
So this tells me Cuphead's going somewhere else.
You think it'd be like a complete edition on Switch and PS4, like in 6 months or whatever, something like that?
I don't think PS4. I do think Switch.
Okay.
Ooh.
That'd be awesome on the Switch.
Yeah, I think that would be a good move.
I do think, though, there is a complete edition coming out months down the road from this because they said 2019 for this, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I mean, we could know as soon as this week if that. I mean, maybe that's your speculation that maybe Nintendo drops a Cuphead complete edition 2019.
Yeah, and I actually am going to. I'm going to save it because it's going to roll in. No, I am going to roll into it. Are we done with the Cuphead DLC?
Yeah. So unless you guys, I mean,
It looks
I want
amazing.
it. I
Yeah,
want
it looks
it.
great. Yeah.
I want it.
Here's why I think. Well, you talk about the next game, then I'll tell you why I think that game and the next game are both coming to Switch.
Okay, so the next one, console launch exclusive, is Tunic, which surprisingly, Nova Scotia represent.
What?
I'm gonna coin this term and just call it Fox Zelda.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, what did you guys think of that? I
Fox Zelda is super cute. Colleen wants it. I want it. Made in Halifax by a single person.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is a one-person team from Halifax, and this game is going to come to Switch, and so is Cuphead. And here's why. Here's a Cartridge Club exclusive as to why I'm saying these games are coming to Switch. If you go to Twitter right now and you look at Studio MDHR for Cuphead, you'll notice that they're followed by Damon Baker and Kirk Scott. If you go to the at Dicey, Dicey, who is I believe that's the right one, who's the developer of Tunic, you'll see that Dicey is followed by Damon Baker and Kirk Scott. Damon Baker and Kirk Scott are the two people who belong to Nintendo of America, and they make every decision on what indie games come to Switch. that is their sole job for Nintendo, is to decide what indie games come to Switch. Both of them are following both of those developers. You're going to see this game on Switch because it was listed as a console launch exclusive. Or no, I don't even know if it was listed as console launch exclusive. But you're going to see both Cuphead and Tunic come to Switch. Otherwise, I mean, I know these guys probably follow a lot of people just to get their feelers out there. But you're gonna see these games come to Switch. I don't know if we'll see it announced tomorrow, if they'll do like a static, a bunch of shots of games that are coming. Those two, as well as there's another game called Treasure Stack, which I'm almost 100% certain is coming. They've said that they have 2 consoles that they're announcing that they'll be launching with alongside Steam this year. And then immediately following that, they had a tweet that said, "What's your favorite shade of red? This one's ours." And the shade that they chose was the red from the Nintendo Switch logo. So that's my prediction. Tunic looks great, by the way. Great get. If it doesn't come to Switch, I'll get it on Xbox. But I am going to wait because I believe it's coming to Switch, and that's my reason why I think that. I'm also going to try and track down that developer because they live in Halifax, and I live in Halifax, and I'm totally going to stalk them now.
But yeah, Josh, Ryan, thoughts on Tunic?
I think it looks really cute, really fun, charming. I'm definitely going to play it. I mean, every time I've seen the trailer, this is what, the 3rd trailer they've had, I think, maybe.
I know we've seen it at least once before.
Yeah, and I every time I see it, I always remember it as a highlight every time. So I'm excited for it. It looks cool. I dig it. So
I'm glad Sean's excited.
I'm excited.
It looks great.
I was thinking 3D Dot Game Heroes, but I mean, having already known that this was coming, I just had forgotten about it.
This is the Fox game we deserved last year when we got Super Lucky's Tale.
Well, yeah, not gonna lie. So the next one, this one, if there were any games that were going to be that kind of, let's find a section of the market that we don't have a great title for this year, because last year Dragon Ball Fighters was one that was on the Xbox show, and that came out for all, for at least PS4 and Xbox. This game is called Jump Force. It is an anime fan's dream, it would appear. Who of the 3 of us is this in your wheelhouse? It looks like a Dragon Ball, Naruto, and One Piece kind of mashup.
I don't know if this was a fighting game. I didn't know what kind of game this was. If this was like an open world, anime game, or if this was a fighter. It looked like he was trying to be a fighter there for a minute. And to me, if it was a fighter, it's an uglier version of what they did with Dragon Ball Z Fighter. So
true. I was reading a description. It said 3rd-person brawler. That's what I saw. So
3D beat 'em up.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Oh, and then there was Death Note was in there at the end.
Wouldn't Goku just kill everybody though? Like kick everybody's ass because he's the most powerful ever, or something? I don't know. I don't think any of us really know about this game.
Yeah, but it's there for a reason. This was one of those that was there to cater to a specific market, to cater to a region perhaps that has not been getting that they don't have a foothold in, right? So all of a sudden you put out a game like this. Granted, this is was only a world premiere, which means it is likely to be on most platforms going forward. But this is again one of those where it's like awesome for the people who are way into this. I know that there are some plenty of people in the club who this probably scratched some itch for them, which is great. The next one is sequel, another world premiere. In fact, this was the point where they said everything from this point forward is a world premiere for us. And so this was the sequel to the zombie parkour game from a couple of years ago. This is Dying Light 2, and they gave us both a trailer and a brief gameplay demonstration for this one. Is anyone kind of into that first-person shooter or first-person Mirror's Edge equal plus zombies plus some interesting branching decision making. Josh?
Yeah, I played the first one for a while. I put about 8 hours or something, give or take, into it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It had a lot of problems. To me, it's mostly, the first one felt mostly just like fetch quest after fetch quest. And the parkour was fun, but sometimes I'd be trying to jump up on this ledge and I couldn't grab it. Sometimes the zombies would kill me in weird ways. It was kind of like not polished, I guess I would say. So looking at this trailer, the graphics look a lot better already. And the gameplay looks similar, but it looked a little more polished. So maybe a sequel, that gives them the opportunity to take that engine, that, fighting system, that parkour, and just give it that coat of polish to make it, that from the 7.5 it was to like the 9 or 10 it could be. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. So I do like the story, what they're doing with the story. And if you do different things, I know every game says this now, you do different things, it changes everything. So it'd be interesting to see how they do it compared to other people. So it looks fun. Yeah. I'll try it. Yeah.
Cool. Ryan, Sean, is this another good for people who enjoy it, but not for me?
Yeah, I pretty much blew the rest of my excitement there on that Tunic scoop that I think I had. Yay, Dying Light.
It just wasn't for me, if you will. I didn't see anything that made me, I guess catch my attention. No, I won't want to play it. So if there's a Dying Light fan base, good for them.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, so Xbox fanboys will know that Phil Spencer likes to wear shirts, and he's worn shirts in years past that have shown off certain logos from storied developers, and we finally get an announcement today for a exclusive world premiere of Battletoads for Xbox, and it is going to be a 2.5D. I didn't catch the other buzzwords because it seemed like a lot of it was really tongue-in-cheek.
Hand-drawn? What's the one?
2.5D hand-drawn 3-player. They say 3-player?
3-player couch co-op, I think it said,
yes.
too.
Hold on. There was a great line they had. You don't want to... It was... what was it? I must have wrote it in the Discord.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
While you look for that, Ryan, why don't you give us your thoughts? You had made a prediction that we would see a Rare franchise get rebooted or get brought to the stage for this show. So you nailed it. You got that one here. So what did you think of it, and what were you hoping for?
At first, I thought it was Conker for the fact. Now, I didn't hear his voice, but the lettering text that we saw pop up, the writing boxes, that's very much out of a Conker or a Banjo-Kazooie game. So at first, I thought it was someone talking to Conker or Banjo. And then I heard the references to, there was a couple, I think maybe Toad or, Frog jokes. Then I'm like, oh, this is Battletoads. I was a little disappointed we didn't get to see much. I mean, it's definitely one of those ones to say, hey, there's something coming. I think this might be a download-only game, if it's just a beat-em-up game, which is fine. This is what I want another Battletoads game. I just wish I got a little bit more. The one little thing that kind of threw it off was the little bit of the look of the land speeder, if you will. But we didn't see the Toads, so I'll keep an open mind. I'm just glad there is another Rare franchise coming back. Do more of that, Microsoft. Please do more of that. You have these wonderful properties. I want more of them coming back. So I was happy to see something coming back from them.
Yeah, that's excellent. Sean, did you find it? If not, I did.
Yeah, I found it. Broad, non-specific feature definitions. I hope it's a 2D hand-drawn art style like Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap, that sort of style. That was beautiful. And I hope it's good, and I hope Ryan likes it, because I know Ryan loves the rare stuff.
That's good. Yeah, I wish I would have given a little bit more. If even you had gotten like a second of what the game play looks like. You just had the black screen with the text, but
something at least to look forward to the future, probably.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. And they said 2019. They didn't give a season or anything, but again, exclusive, which is what people were looking for. Josh, are you scratching at that rash or anything?
I love mascots. It's cool. I didn't do a lot for me.
I'm not saying you have a rash. I was trying to make
I know. I know. It's not as good as your segues, but yeah, it's just okay. I mean, I'm happy for the people that like that. I don't know what that could mean in the modern day of Battletoads game. We'll see. It's kind of like in the Mega Man 11 aspect to me right now. The Mega Man 11 looks cool, but I can't play it right now, so I can't tell you if it's good or not. It's kind of how it is with me, and they didn't show any gameplay either. So,
yeah. So the next one up, we had Walmart Canada Strikes Again. That big leak that they had a ton of titles out there. There were a few left on that hit list that had not happened yet. We got our world premiere of Just Cause 4, which looked just as insane as the previous games in the series. Did this? Anyone really in on this one? Are you looking for more Just Cause 4? This is another Square Enix title on the stage here.
To be honest, I didn't think that Just Cause 3 was well received, and I was kind of surprised that a sequel would come so quick, because I think the other one was like maybe 2 years ago that the third one came out. So it was kind of, when this was originally announced, I was kind of taken back then. This still looked more like cinematic trailers. I couldn't tell if anything was really gameplay from this one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because the graphic style is way different than Just Cause 3. Like, in my opinion, I guess it seemed more polished, but it didn't feel the same. So it was just like, this cannot be gameplay. Or if it is, it's going to look a lot different than Just Cause 3. So I don't know if that's just a different lighting engine or what. But I beat and loved Just Cause 2. Just Cause 3 just didn't do much for me. I don't know what it was. It just was like, okay. So this one just looks okay too, in my opinion. So.
It looked pretty bombastic to me. I don't know. I kind of dug it. There's this thing that they're doing in trailers now where they sync up. I mentioned this yesterday with Anthem, right? They sync up the music to the to either melee strikes or gunshots, and it seems to, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the Battlefield 1 trailer, the original one with Salvation Army. Remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's kind of what I was thinking of. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So it's good to see it. December 4th, 2018. So if you're looking forward to Just Cause 4, or if you are potentially looking at the inevitable collector's edition that they will overproduce and then sell for super, super cheap, just like they did with the third one, maybe that is your cup of tea. And the next game that came up was kind of a strange blend. I don't know that anyone was predicting this.
Yeah, they just sort of popped up out of nowhere.
It did just pop up out of nowhere. It's very good. So you get a Gears logo. Crowd freaks out. And then you hear the Lancer sawing through the wall, and all of a sudden, on the other side of the wall is Marcus Phoenix, except he's a Funko Pop. And he then breaks down the wall. So this is Gears Pop, which is a mobile game coming 2019. And I have a hard gauge on what this game is, but it's a joint venture between the Coalition and Funko. What did you guys think of this? This was I think one of the more off the wall things that they showed.
I guess I missed that it was a mobile game. I didn't realize that. I thought it was a real game, and I kind of got the vibe that maybe it's one of those like Lego superhero games, like a take on it, like a pop.
That would be interesting to see Funko decide to get into the game developing thing by making a line of Funko games. This is a start, I guess.
I don't know. I just do not like Funko Pops. I'm sorry if people do. I just don't like the style of them. They're okay for if you like them, but This is the only thing in the trailer that I just actively didn't like at all. The moment I saw it, I was like, okay, that's not for me at all. It's just really, it was off-putting. But I'm glad they turned it around with the next stuff that happens. But still, no, I'm just like, no, I'm out instantly when I see Funko stuff. So,
well, I mean, so this wasn't the only Gears announcement. We actually got three Gears announcements today. Whether that's good news for you or not, they kind of hit the next two announcements really kind of hit both angles here. They announced Gears Tactics, which looks like XCOM with the Gears franchise, which people had been sort of saying is kind of the rumor, and I think it caters really well to the game style. They did say that this was on PC, though. I didn't get an indication that this was going to be on Xbox. Did you guys hear that too, or am I making stuff up?
No, you're right. They said PC only, but I think they did that with the original Halo Wars. They just put it on PC to see like what the appeal was, and then they eventually put it on Xbox.
I think Halo Wars was crafted specifically for.
Okay, so I'm thinking of a Halo. There was a Halo game that just came out on PC first, or am I just going crazy here?
I think you're missing. I don't know. I don't want to say you're wrong, but I think you might be wrong on that one.
Okay. All right.
But do you guys like the XCOM style games? I know there's a lot of people who do, and I feel like no, not from you, Ryan, not from you, Sean. No.
I like tactical RPGs, and I guess they're that to the extreme. I think the Gears world lends itself well to that style of game, so I think it seems like a logical marriage.
Very much so. I would agree. I think it's a good right step, and I'm glad that wasn't the last Gears announcement, because if it had been, I think some people would have been lukewarm on it. And so then they come out and drop Gears 5. The way that they dropped it was super nonchalant, and they just put up a logo for a second, and I had written down in the notes, I went, in development, and then suddenly he goes, oh, here, watch this, and it was a pretty substantial story trailer revealing that you're going to be playing as the female lead who was in the fourth game, who's sort of going on her own mission. She's kind of some things are kind of messing her up, and she's been seeing some things, and so it seems like that's going to be the side, like JD and Marcus are going one way and they're going the other way. I'm really intrigued to see what that is. They said that was going to be 2019. So that is probably your big fall game next year, assuming things move along.
It seemed like they had some like hack and slash elements to it. Now, if those are in...
There's some melee stuff. So I don't know about the fourth... Confession, I haven't played the third one. I haven't played the fourth one yet. I have them. I just haven't played them.
And as someone who's new to the Gear series, I've only played the first one. That seemed like a newer mechanic to me. So I could be 100% wrong with that, but it's something that kind of caught my attention more. I thought that was cool. So
yeah, I didn't know that if there was melee that has been added. I mean, obviously the Lancers have a chainsaw on them. Those are a melee attack, but it looks like at one point she was swinging around what looked like a big club, which looked pretty cool.
Yeah, so I've only played the first Gears. Gears is a franchise that I've wanted to get into. I've wanted to try since the first trailer with the Mad World song so many years ago, because I thought that was awesome. I played through the first Gears co-op with Kevin, actually, on Xbox 360. When I first got my 360, that was the first thing I played. We played through that together. This trailer made me want to play the rest. So, Ryan, if you've played the first one and I've played the first one, maybe we should grab that bonus disc on, because I have them on 360. But I think there's an Xbox One compilation that has them all, I think. Is that right?
There was an edition that came out that had the remaster of 1 on it, and then 2 and 3 were downloads.
They're backwards compatible, though, I believe.
Right? They are.
Okay. Well, then maybe we should, get together and play through, if you're interested at all. Play through 2 and 3, and then we can grab 4, because I think they can all be played through co-op through the story.
And 4 is on Game Pass.
Oh, there we go. So I'll maybe do Game Pass. But this, I mean, they're quick
Just
plays.
get a
We can
two-week- just get a
do them-
2-week demo or something.
yeah, we could do them in like a 2-day, play for 5 hours, play for 5 hours type thing. They're
Sure.
not long games. So if you're down for it, it might have to be when I get home from my deployment, but
Sure.
maybe we'd have it
Sign
done.
me up.
Yeah, right on. Cool. So yeah, Gears 4 or 5, whatever number we are at. Woo!
It will be 5. Yeah, I'm intrigued. This makes me want to go back and get caught up. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you guys. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot more. I know a lot of people associate the Gears franchise to just sort of grunting and smashing into stuff, but like there seemed to be a little more to it here. Like the story seems to be pretty. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what direction they take. So that was pretty much the end of the reveals for what Xbox had. Phil came out again, and Phil says, hey, we're working toward console quality on any device via streaming. That's something that they have techs who are trying to get there and trying to get us set up on that. And so eventually they want to be able to deliver an Xbox quality experience on your Xbox, on your phone, on your PC, basically regardless of all of that. And he was kind of setting the stage for the future console generation. He admitted the fact that they were working on the next Xbox console.
I felt that was kind of deflating a little bit too, just a little bit. That it's kind of like, I know we're hearing this about the PlayStation 5, but it sounds like, okay, well, we just got the Xbox One X, this last winter, if you will. It kind of was like, okay, well, what about the people who I'm like, okay, well, I got a 4K TV. I'm interested in an Xbox One X. Why should I get that now when Yuri kind of hinted that, hey, maybe in 2021 or 2022, why should I wait when I could probably get the Xbox 2 or whatever it's going to be called,
That is a legitimate point. You do kind of take the wind out of your sails. Sea of Thieves reference notwithstanding, to when you do something like that. The thing is, and people are going to miss the little subtext there, right? Like consoles need to be started years before, like they were talking about the Xbox One X before the Xbox One came out. So the fact that there's people working on that console, I think that was known. It's not like he's saying, hey, we have all these games and the Xbox is getting old and it's in its last stage of its life.
World premiere. Xbox exclusively is leaving.
I would, just to quickly comment on that next generation. That next generation I can't see them launching if everything on Xbox One and everything that is working now on Xbox One isn't along for the ride. That's my thought there. I really don't see that happening. They've been doing, like, that would be taking all of your fans who have been really supportive of all of the, who've been there through the dark times and through all of the like stuff that they've been trying to do to restore customer sentiment, and just to say, we want more money out of you, and you can't take any of your old stuff and you're just going to snuff you out on the ground. Like, that isn't going to fly with any consumer, and they will undo everything that they've done at this point. I can't see Phil driving that initiative, but they've probably been working on that next system for a year or two now. Probably the moment that there's probably a team spun up before the X came out that was already looking at that. So to admit it, I guess, is fine. They could have probably not said it, and it probably would have also been fine, because you know what? That's going to be the one thing that other console enthusiasts will key into. Was like, oh, yep, they said it. That's the thing. They're going to leave you soon. Anyways.
Yep.
Let me get off this soapbox. So, and so Phil then started to wrap things up, right? He was like, oh, okay, thank you. And then we had,
he was hacked. He
got hacked, which is usually something that doesn't happen on Microsoft. Or no, I was going to say,
no, it happens.
Doesn't happen on Mac.
Yeah, their Defender program really sucks.
That's right. So we get the moment that it happened. P1, you thought it was something else. What did you think it was?
I thought it was awesome. First of all, I love these moments, these E3 moments. They have them every year. There's, you think you've seen it all, you think you're prepared for everything, and all of a sudden something happens. This I got excited. The text was read, the code name was read, and this is mostly due to me having zero interest in anything made by CD Projekt Red. Because I predicted last night that you were going to hear something from Nintendo. I thought we were going to see Nintendo on the Xbox stage. At the point before the show, I was like, we're going to see a Smash Bros. Announcement at the Microsoft thing. I realize how ridiculous that is that Nintendo, with anybody else, announce a Smash Bros. Character other than them. But all of it, I was like, this is it. Nintendo's hacking Microsoft. They're going to announce they're working together, and then they weren't. But it was I was excited. I had zero interest in Cyberpunk 2077 up until this moment. And because they made me think it was something else, and then deflated me, I got excited for it again because the transition into that I thought was so cool, the way they did that. Because I expected a boring Microsoft ending,
You expected like, but one more thing.
Yeah,
right?
and that because they were like, okay, he was saying goodbye. He was in the middle of saying goodbye, and the screen did its thing, and I was like, what is going on? And it was really cool. I thought it was really delivered well, and I'm more excited. And I'm sure it's going to play just like Witcher 3, and I can't stand Witcher 3, but I am more excited now. I will at least look at this game when it comes out because of the way that they did this trailer at the end for me. It made me very excited. I thought it was a very unique way to bring it, especially because it's not a Microsoft game. You know what I mean? You do that for your own games. That could have been your Halo. That could have been your Gears 5. Instead, they're giving it to CD Projekt Red, which is that's a big boon for Microsoft to have that confidence in that studio to say, here, you guys do this.
We're gonna let you be the coup de grace on this presentation right now.
Yeah. So I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was good. I'm interested in seeing more.
So Josh,
Ooh.
you've been really excited for this game.
Yeah, I love.
Tell me what it did for you.
Okay, so of course I didn't know what it was at first, and I was trying to think like what could it be. And then when it said Red, of course, CD Projekt Red, I connected the dots. And I don't know, the trailer just had a really good vibe for me. I love cyberpunk fiction in general. And I actually do really like Witcher 3. It's just that game was so dense that I put over 100 hours into it. And I was just like, I felt like I was never going to stop playing it if I didn't move on. That's how much is in that game. So just the idea of this game having that setting with CD Projekt Red's attention to detail is really exciting, and it looked very beautiful, and I like the feel of it. I'm not sure. I didn't know what really to expect from it, honestly, but I did love they cut to the girl doing the makeup and half her face is gone. It's a cyborg, and they show some action scenes, and I was getting chills. Like I was like, this looks like something I could really sink a lot of time into, and it really built up that universe and the feel of what to expect from that game, even though they didn't give us a date or anything, but it just looked really cool. So I'm pretty hyped for it, honestly. So, yeah.
Ryan, where are you at on Cyberpunk?
I need to see more of it because I'm not even kind of sure what kind of game this is. So I need to see a little bit more before I get excited. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Okay. But as far as moving the needle, you're saying probably keeping it about where it is.
It's an open approach to it. I'm not shut down on it. I just need to see more from it before I know if I'm going to play this or not.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm interested. I have not played any of the Witcher games, and so I know that the studio does nothing but it seems like they do nothing but pour so much effort into their games, so I don't doubt that they are going to knock it out of the park with this. I like the fact that they ended this way, considering you're sandwiching this with you had your Halo to start, you had your Gears to kind of wrap up the Microsoft offerings, and then you get something beyond that. In previous years they would have just ended with Gears 5, right? And that would have been it. And so overall, I really kind of enjoyed that, and I think I enjoyed the show as a whole. Do you guys have any final thoughts on how they did? How did Microsoft do? Were you overall happy with the show? And the question we asked last night was, should they be here next year? Do they need to continue to deliver in this manner? Who wants to go first? Let's have Sean. Let's have you go first.
I have 2 dogs in the room now. Hopefully they don't bark. I really, really enjoyed this show. I thought it was exactly what Microsoft needed to do. They came out. They didn't talk about hardware. They didn't give us a bunch of bullshit. Phil Spencer came out. They launched with Halo. Phil came out. He got applause. He said, we're going to talk about a bunch of games. Hold on to your butts. Then they talked about a bunch of games. You know what I mean? They brought out that Mrs. in the middle, and she said, hey, guess what? Game Pass? You thought it was good before? Well, now it's fucking awesome. Hold on to your butts. And we held on to our butts for some more games. And like I said, there wasn't a ton of games there for me specifically, but the Xbox needed to cast a wide net, and they did that. They covered every genre except for sports. You know what I mean? How many times you say, oh, Xbox is guns, sports, and cars? Well, there was no sports, unless you count not Tony Hawk. But
not Tony Hawk.
It was a great show. I really enjoyed it. It got me pumped to go back into the Gears series, which is awesome. I'm excited to do that. And it actually made me consider picking up an Xbox One X and upgrading to that, because if I'm going to play games, I might as well play them where they look the best and play the best. So it's not going to happen now. Maybe I'll check sales for Black Friday, see what they're like.
You also might have to buy, Mark one. So.
Yeah, that's right. If there's a PS1 Classic, no. If there's a PS1 Classic, I have to give Mark.
Oh, it's the sales. The sales by October, I think.
Oh, right, that's what it was. Yeah, the year one sales. Jeez, maybe I should buy mine to bump those numbers up. No, I got this. It got me excited. I wish it made me feel. I watching this trailer or this press conference. I wished I was an Xbox fanboy. I wished Xbox was my sole console, because there is a lot there for those people. It's not, obviously, I'm surrounded by Nintendo products, a giant custom-made amiibo case. So they're obviously my choice. So some of this stuff that Xbox offers isn't going to apply to me. But I felt like if I was an Xbox fan, if Xbox was my ecosystem that I preferred to game in, this was a great press conference for those people. So, I mean, you're wearing an Xbox shirt. I'm sure you were happy with it.
I am.
Ryan's a PlayStation guy.
Happy.
He's going to be lukewarm. So that's – but, yeah, it was great show.
So let's hear from Josh then.
Okay. I liked it a lot. I had a lot of fun watching it. And all the games that I seen in there, I can't talk today. There's a lot of really good games in there for everybody. I think I said that at the beginning of the show. But to wrap it up, I would say it was more than I thought it was going to be. I kind of expected, here's a couple, maybe a Halo or maybe a Gears, but they did both. And then I was like, oh, they have some third-party stuff, but they had a lot of third-party stuff, and a lot of that is coming first there. And I was going to get an X anyway this year. I already planned on doing it for Anthem. That's what was my goal, to get one for that. So it's pushing me to get it sooner to play some of these other games. So it's going to be awesome.
Very good.
Yeah.
Ryan, your thoughts?
It was a very good show for their part. They casted a very wide net. More games that you normally wouldn't see on Xbox, you've seen on Xbox this year. Specifically, a lot of games from Square. Square had a heavy presence, I think, on the Microsoft stage this year with your Kingdom Hearts, Nier, the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. I think there's another one, Tomb Raider. Yep. And what's it called? Just Cause 4. So they had a heavy presence on there. I'm glad I got to see Devil May Cry 5 is coming for sure. And a return to one of the rare properties for Microsoft. So still, they showed a lot of games. Not much really hit with me, but I'm glad that there was at least something for me here. So overall, a good show for Microsoft.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Again, I'm wearing the shirt. It's not a mystery that going into this, I had some high expectations. I feel like a majority of them were met. The one prediction I made of actually both predictions, Fable and Perfect Dark, didn't happen, but it didn't say they weren't happening. So those could still be on the horizon, and I believe that they both are. I'm very optimistic. And yes, there's a lot that bleeds into 2019. In fact, 2019 is looking to be like a massive year for the system. So I'm fairly optimistic there. I'm still very happy about my purchase of an Xbox One X, and I would encourage those who have the hardware to, get the HDR and the 4K and all of that to really, really consider it. It is especially if rumors of a price drop are coming. If that price comes down to be in parallel or closely on par with the Pro, hands down, yes, absolutely, go get it. That is that's my stamp of approval, I think, on that. Now we're not done. We're not done. We have more shows coming. We have another show tonight. In fact, the press conference for Bethesda is starting in about 17 minutes. So I want to get predictions and or hopes from each of the panel one at a time. We'll go round robin, and then we're going to, again, come back on after that show is done, which I estimate would be about roughly 45 minutes to an hour after that presentation starts. So let's start. I want to start with Ryan. Let's start with a prediction or hope for this Bethesda show tonight.
I hope I don't take Josh's here, but I'm hoping Doom 2. That's one of my hopes. So I love the first game. I hope for another one.
Very well-timed Doom reference. Again, to those of you who have yet to listen to the Halo episode of CC Prime, Doom is our September game of the month to launch Season 6. So, yes, a Doom 2 reveal, and potentially, if it follows the Bethesda timeline, reveal and release this year would be pretty awesome. I totally agree with you there. And that's one that I would totally have guessed myself if you hadn't have taken it, but that's fine. Josh, one hope or prediction from you for Bethesda?
Hope. This is going to sound crazy, but why not? They have this Fallout stuff, and like I said, an hour or whatever it was when we talked about Fallout 76 during the Xbox reveal, they had all this stuff. They talked about what it's going to be. Well, they kind of talked about what it's going to be, and they showed that big trailer, and they had the announced trailer already a while ago with that big 24-hour stream. I feel like Bethesda is working on something else, Bethesda Game Studios. So I'm thinking it's going to be either, I guess I'll just take one. It's probably going to be that Starfield that got trademarked a few years ago. So it would be like a space RPG.
Space RPG? Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, very good. I'm going to keep mine relatively safe. I think we at least get indication that Elder Scrolls 6 is coming. Whether it's for this year or next year, I'm not throwing predictions at that. But I feel like they at least show that the next Skyrim is coming. Or the next, hold on, time out. The next Elder Scrolls game. We're not talking Skyrim 2. That's silly. That's ridiculous. P1.
I'm going to keep with my tradition from last night. My first prediction is that there will be more than 2 first-party games shown.
At Bethesda?
At Bethesda, yes.
Okay. Playing it safe. Ryan.
I'm going to say everything they show tonight. I wonder if they're going to copy. I'm just going to say they're going to maybe try to copy. Did they announce Fallout 4 if it's coming out, or 76 coming out next year?
Yeah, they said early. It's early 2019.
Okay, and then in that case, everything besides Fallout is going to come out this year that they show tonight. So, like they did last year, everything that they showed came out in 2017. So,
okay.
I think for Arcane Studios, they're going to come out and they're going to show the Prey DLC they've already talked about, and they're going to announce either a sequel for Dishonored or a brand new IP. One of the two. So I guess that would be 2 predictions. I don't know. Arcane's going to do something new. There's going to be a new game from Arcane.
Something from Arcane. Okay.
Yep.
Whew. I got to come up with something quick. Wow, that's a tricky one. We're gonna go kind of. So Quake Champions has been they've been starting to push that. I think we get a full-fledged Quake game. Let's go nuts and say that. Let's go like the story-based Quake games, not. Yeah, let's do that. P1, how about you?
We are going to get a previously unknown game coming to Switch. So something that they have in their library or something new is they're going to announce that it's coming to Switch, and it'll be something we didn't know before tonight that was coming there.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, and apparently I was mistaken. Bethesda is in an hour and 15 minutes. So
Yeah,
let me.
you're way wrong.
Sorry about it. Sorry about it. I was getting my time zones crossed up. So yeah. So we estimate that we will be on. I'm guessing that it'll be about a 45-minute presentation. That it was about 30 something minutes last year when they did their Bethesda Land thing. And so, yeah, so we should be on probably, I'm guessing like 9:15 Central Time or 10:15 Eastern Time, talking about everything that comes out of that show. Between now and then, if you're interested in following any one of these fine gentlemen from the panel here, let's have Ryan tell us where we can follow you.
You can find me on Twitter at It's Rocket Sauce.
P1, where can we find you?
At Cartridge. You can find me exclusively at Cartridge Bros.
Exclusive. And Josh.
At Frantic Society on Twitter.
Okay, and as always, you can find me at Musty Hobbit. And we will see you guys again real soon. I hope that you enjoyed this. And again, we are going to be talking about everything that Bethesda brings to the table. We will also be doing our predictions for Square's show, which is tomorrow.
Let's see, your mic's muted.
No, I'm not.
There, you're back.
How did that happen? Okay, so I'm going to back up then. So again, where did I cut off?
You were good. We're talking about Square's show tomorrow. We're going to make predictions for Square's show tomorrow morning.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so that show for Square should be roughly, I think it's around noon Central Time. Sure.
That's something you can look up in the break.
We will talk about that after the Bethesda show. So anyways, thank you all for coming by. We've had a ton of fun here, and we hope that the E3 train continues to move along. So look forward to seeing you later, either live or on demand. But thank you all for joining us, and we will catch you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.